wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Hey, Boater.
what did one beaver say to the other when their waterworks project wasn't going as planned?
We should talk to the local developers about this issue.
Damn. Hello everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
I'm Dave, man.
The topic of that joke will be relevant later on. But yes, welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another Tuesday evening here at Insane Games TV. Dave, how you doing?
I enjoy when your jokes hit, it throws off the rest of your role.
I don't. We've been doing this almost 2 years. I don't know what my standard is aside from.
It's just
And then tell a joke.
Yeah, it's just
my planning stops after the punchline, as shown by like the multiple introductions a couple months ago.
It's just I've enjoyed the fact that like if I either guess the joke that you're gonna do or if I finish the puzzle, Alec, or if I laugh at the joke, you usually get a little bit thrown off to when I usually just go, well, maybe next week. Like
Yeah, I don't say, welcome to your Glasses Podcast, and then I didn't actually say welcome to your Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
and I'm Boater.
Well, good enough. Let's get started because otherwise we're just going to get meta the entire broadcast. Dave, let's start off with a Twitch ban. How's that sound?
I'd love to hear about people getting what they've sometimes earned.
Sometimes is an operative word here. The band on Friday was Liv Styx, a female streamer who probably got the ban for wearing something provocative but not overly revealing. Like I would have a hard time describing it. It's a top that has a lot of bust, has a lot of cleavage, but possibly got a ban for that, and was basically like, excuse me, my ban was... It's fine, you're the male presenting. Damn it.
Yes. So what you're basically saying is take this, Twitch censors.
Crack up all the sensors. Okay. It was an indefinite ban, and she was like, "Really? Amaranth is in the middle of her fifth ban right now, and is back in a day or two for whatever dumb thing Amaranth did." And a bunch of her community was like, "Yeah, that was kind of standard booby streamer fare." And sure enough, the next day, Twitch was like, "Here's your account back. Have fun." Unbanned on Saturday. So there's a line between test that assumption at your earliest convenience and just being punished for a puritanical worldview. And this kind of fell on that side, so I'm glad that was sorted pretty quick. So
I will say of the very loose banning process that Twitch does carry, there is an appeals process, and when things like that, where oh, your shirt's inappropriate and I don't like it,
yeah,
report. Twitch says, okay, we're taking this down, and then
If
they
there's enough
usually
reports,
immediately look at it and go, oh, piss off. Like,
yeah, as soon as like there's an actual contestant and they actually have a human look at it. I'll have to grab me some Daisy Dukes. I mean, it was basically that entire costume. It was fine for, 70s television. Anyway, that was who was banned in the last 7 days and thankfully returned quickly. Dave, what do we have coming out in the next 7 days looking forward?
So if you remember, the last couple of weeks, this part of the show has been action-packed, and I have had multiple games. This week, we're taking kind of a breather. We're taking a deep breath, and if everyone watching out there wants to go with me, you can go, I'm hooked on a feeling.
I did not know what you were going for, and I was half a beat late. I apologize.
That's totally okay, but Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be rocketing to your systems if you happen to own Microsoft Windows Computer, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, the Xbox Series S/X, and GeForce Now? Oh, NVIDIA. Okay.
Yeah, NVIDIA's cloud gaming service, which you're going to be playing on a Windows PC. It's just a different distribution platform than like Steam or whatever. I'll count that in half, 6.5.
So 6.5 different formats where you can play this game. When does NASCAR Ignition come out? Really? Wait, is that within 7 days? But
it is not.
It is not, Steve. Naughty video production. Next week we can have you talk about that game.
But for now, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's the same developer as the current like Marvel Avengers game that's out right now, right? That is doing really well.
I hope not, because that game was not good.
I mean, it was good when it came out, but it didn't really have support continuing, as I recall.
Okay, fair. Yes. The game at base was fun, but yeah.
Which I didn't include it, but apparently the same thing could be said for the Alien game that came out over the summer. Has about 800 concurrent players on Steam right now after Back 4 Blood came out.
What are you doing here?
Very few people playing that game, partially because it came out and then didn't get a whole lot of support going forward, partially because, like, Back 4 Blood.
I'm one of those people! And I really enjoy that game, but it is also broken as hell on back-gen consoles. Not like Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy coming out
on 6.5 platforms.
The 26th. Action-adventure. It's going to have all the plucky humor of the comic and some of the game of the TV show and the movie.
Dave, be honest, you have nothing else to say about it except that it's coming out, and we both like Guardians of the Galaxy, but we don't know about this.
Yeah, this was one of those games that they advertised a whole hell of a lot during the Game Awards and things.
Yeah, it's a slow release week.
Yeah, but at the same point, like collectively, and I remember distinctively, me and Mike were standing up behind the counter, and we were watching, and we both thought, oh, that's cool.
Okay.
That's not the game for us.
Yeah.
And
that's fine. I mean, like, not every game has to be for every person. That's fine.
So,
what else
slow game relaunches, some announcements, things like that. And that's kind of on your radar. Look forward to some really good titles coming out in the next couple of weeks, months, and year. But, if you haven't paid Black 4 Blood, if you haven't bought Far Cry 6, if you haven't played Alan Wake Remastered, here are your reminders for those.
Yeah. Or if you've played those and finished them, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Death Stranding. You know you didn't finish it, go back to it.
Dave, how's that going? Or are we going to talk about it later?
You know what? We'll table it, but just know that unfortunately, because of my getting married this weekend, there really wasn't any time for me to deliver any parcels. But
congratulations.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you. I'm very excited to get back to delivering, but we'll talk more about that during our synopsis of the director's cut later in the stream.
Yep.
Boder, what's passionately in your disc tray these days?
So, I mentioned that there's a game I've been playing a lot. So, as you mentioned, you had your wedding ceremony on Saturday and the reception and all that. On Friday night, I was like, I finished an edit, and I don't really feel like starting another edit. Let me just see what's in my library. Let me see what's on my Steam wishlist. Oh, right. This game looked kind of interesting. I proceeded to drop 6 hours that evening, and between Friday evening and Sunday evening, I put 19.2 hours into Timberborn. Timberborn is a city-building game where your citizens are all beavers. It is after the fall of man. There are ruins across the land. Humanity mistreated the earth, and beavers have risen up in their wake for civilization to thrive.
And we put our trust in timber.
Now you know why I started the stream with that
What
joke.
is left of humanity for our own benefit.
It is amazingly addictive. Again, I dropped 19 hours into this, and it's like I'm not the only one. This game was number 7 on the Steam top sellers for 2 weeks in a row in September when it came out in early access. It's not even the completed game. It's usually Horizon Zero Dawn, but with beavers. Yes, and also there's nothing hostile against you. It's basically make your civilization, put your food stores together, harvesting water. Oh, and also periodically there's droughts. There's dry spells where the water dries up, and you need to make sure that you're ready for that time. On like, I think I'm playing on easy mode or like normal or something, so I have like 6-day droughts right now in my game. And you know, the river dries up. I need to have a whole lot of dam works and floodgates and stuff like that so that all my crops stay irrigated. I'm in the middle of a bunch of big projects. I say, yes, Steph, I'll be up shortly. And then 45 minutes later, I come upstairs. I think Friday night, she went to bed around 11 o'clock and expected me to follow shortly thereafter. And I came to bed at 2:30 in the morning. It was a lot of fun.
The last time I did that to my wife, it was because I was busy delivering packages. So, in our broad stroke and bad overview of our gaming lately, oh, sorry, honey, I was late for our appointment because I just had 2 more packages to deliver.
Yeah, hey, I'll be up at the end of this drought. There's just a couple more days. Listen, infrastructure is very important to us.
It matters a lot here on Nerd Glasses. Us as hosts are very keen on delivering a product and mastering that product.
Yeah, it's I currently have a civilization of 80-odd beavers across a couple different districts working on different projects. It's a good time. I really, really wanted to do it on Brunch with Boater on Sunday, but knowing that I'm not going to be at my computer for this upcoming week, I was like, no, we'll keep to Horizon Zero Dawn and maybe sometime in the future or just something off schedule. But chances are there's a possibility after the Citadel tonight I'm going back and playing a bit before bed. Anyway, that's what I've been putting an absurd amount of time into. Again, 19 hours over the course of 50. In the span of 50 hours, 19 of it was spent managing that.
Before you read more like Rigor Mortis's chat, I'm just going to hold these things up. Okay, now read it.
Nerd Glasses, infrastructure and logistics.
Ooh, ah!
Oh boy, Dave, do we have any? So this was a slow release week, Dave. Was it a slow news week too, or do at least we have something we can pretend to talk about?
I have got 4 pages. The Citadel's gonna be like 5 minutes. Porter's looking at, hi guys, welcome to the Citadel, and he's just gonna blink like 4 times and go, well, that was fun. Good night, everybody.
So now at least take half an hour so I can take it for the YouTube upload. No, we're gonna go the normal 2.5 to 3 hours. We got Outer Worlds tonight coming up on the Citadel.
Hell yes.
So he says that as though it's surprising, and he doesn't have the title screen in front of him this entire time.
I mean, I don't read.
No, it's
I
gonna
don't
be
read
fun.
good.
New. You said you have 4 pages.
Yes.
I have
so,
2 topics.
Let's sprinkle a couple of these in. Let me just go with Twitter was a buzz this month with some really cool things.
I believe the olden term is it was a Twitter. That's probably actually where they got the name for the app, but so I'm not creative at all.
It
Go ahead,
probably
continue.
was. Much love, Mr. Mod Josh. Thank you very much for the lurk. But Dolly Parton,
Okay.
music superstar,
Good attempt at a spit take. Almost worked. That came out of-
and all around fantastical example of the human being and the human race.
Yep.
The show Ted Lasso
I'm familiar with it. I have not seen it.
It's on Apple TV, right?
I think so.
It's on Apple TV, and I thought it was about a little birdie told me. I mean, that's what it pretty much turned into, was a bunch of speculative bullshit and people yelling at each other. But Ted Lasso, on the official account, the kayfabe account of the character Ted Lasso, tweeted about how he amps up the team, and he talked about how he, like, when my team gets down, I talk about how at Dolly Parton, doesn't give it up from 9 to 5 and this and that and the other, this and that and the other. And like a week later, Dolly Parton actually checked her Twitter and responded with, Ted, I love you, this and that and the other. And you have tickets for the team that he's representing in universe. And it was one of those, like, you could see the actor for Ted Lasso was like so excited and like all these things. It was one of those, like, see, that's how you do it. That's how you do it as a celebrity.
That's some good social media. The thing is that, like, Twitter is often referred to as a hell site, and it's interesting because it is a whole bunch of different communities that can interact but rarely do. So some of those circles are terrible, and some of them are wonderful and wholesome. I have 2 bots that I follow that every hour, one uploads a picture of a fox and one uploads a picture of a seal. That keeps my feed wholesome. So you gotta do it right, and Twitter is able to be done right.
'Tis true.
Example.
Speaking also of Twitter done right, if you remember, I was jawing on about Back 4 Blood and how excited I was to play it.
Yarp.
Well, Turtle Rock Studios apparently decided to put up their dukes on Twitter because KFC Gaming tweeted, "Every masterpiece has its cheap copy," and it's a picture of Left 4 Dead and then a picture of the cover of Back 4 Blood.
Oh, I see KFC Gaming. I enjoy their content, even though that was a poop level take.
So
that was a poo take.
Turtle Rock responded, subtweeted the quote, and responded directly with 11 herbs and spices and still no taste. So they gave it right back to him, and I was so proud of Turtle Rock because in the past, because of the game Evolve and their previous dealings with other studios and things, they got really beaten up on Twitter a lot. And so they've upped their Twitter game and done some amazing work. I'm a very big fan of Back 4 Blood. I would love to know what you in chat thought about it. Have you played it? Have you watched people stream it? Did you tune in for the Weekend Wednesday with it? It was hilarious. Me and Amp got flushed out a bunch of times because we couldn't get reliably 4 people. It was either me, Amp, Akai, and Vladdy, which was awesome. And then Vladdy proceeded to fall asleep while the lobby was loading. So we loaded in, and then he was just gone. But that's neither here nor there. But
Bravo.
Speaking of going up and coming back down, did you wind up buying the Diablo 2 remaster?
I have not. I know Steph did. I don't think she's played it recently. But is this still about server issues?
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Is that one of your stories?
It's not, but it is something that I did read up about.
Perfect. So I'll do my broad strokes, and please feel free to. But Demon Dragon in chat sounds like they studied the Wendy's Twitter.
Yeah,
LOL.
there are some brands that use Twitter very well, and I know that be gone brand. It's not cool to brand social media accounts, but screw it, they're having fun. As long as I can keep, I don't form a parasocial relationship with them. As long as I can keep my head on straight of that is a brand. That has pluses and minuses, but it happens to entertain me.
On that same regard,
Arby's is really good with that too. They continually post cardboard papercraft of whatever the latest thing is. I love it.
I look greatly forward to when Insane Games TV gets bigger and we can start having a Twitter feud with Arby's and Wendy's and Burger King.
We'll have to AstroTurf a Twitter feud with versus you versus the Insane Games one. Meanwhile, we're sitting back scripting it.
I personally have been involved in assisting linking a wrestling podcast I listened to and Taco Bell because they would constantly reference Taco Bell. And so finally I just tweeted at Taco Bell with a clip of the moment. And I was like, hey, what are we doing for Steven Larson on Going in Raw? And they were so Taco Bell got at them and they got a sponsorship thing.
Nice.
They got like free tacos.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
get me wrong,
no,
but like
yeah, but I played Diablo during the open beta, but haven't played it since release. Got it.
so some good news and some bad news. The good news is the game is being played a
Mhm.
lot,
Mhm.
and the servers are full. The bad news is
The servers are full.
their servers are full and there's a high usage level, and there's more people playing it now than they did at launch, which was less than 2 months ago, but still.
There's also it's not just that servers are full, but that the architecture of the game is such that there is a master server with all the information, and then there's other server nodes that are being played on.
Yes.
Or at least for each region there is. And so this is the same architecture that the original game used. Again, they wanted to keep the underlying architecture as much the same as they could with the original Diablo 2. And the player base in 2000 was fine. The player base in the year of our Lord 2021 is a lot. So the servers are getting overwhelmed with all of this verification, updating to the master server and pulling back down from. So it's not just, oh, well, they can add more servers. It's a big infrastructure thing where they need to make some pretty big back-end changes on it.
The good news is they're working on updating the old game code. They have and the companies really have looked at addressing these issues. They're
Mhm.
not just saying, well, the water level's high now, but it'll be lower later. Like,
Yeah.
so right now
Also,
they're
it's in
doing
Blizzard's interest to fix something, anything.
yes. So
Although,
right
to
now,
be fair, the more that this stays in the news for this, the less they're in the news for you know what. Which, thank God, I have no updates on this week.
I did see an update, but it was news that was potentially catastrophic for me ever playing Overwatch again.
Oh,
So I just ignored it. More news coming on that next week on Nerd Glasses. But in regards to
Glasses, head in the
Diablo,
sand.
rate limiting is what they've done, which is stopping people from starting too many new games consecutively if you haven't started a new one, and jumping too many characters onto the servers and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I guess
which
like
is
a
not
cooldown between
yes.
times that it would have activities you do that are going to reference that central node server.
It was, however,
but-
not going to be a permanent measure, and they do not plan on keeping that longer than is necessary.
Yeah, here's something to stop the bleeding. Let's go. I don't know. I can't metaphor right now for some reason, but hey, here's a band-aid. Now, while that's there, let's get into surgery and figure this out.
The donut's on the car, you're on the highway, you know you need to get off at the next exit.
Let's well, I mentioned that, so we don't have a big story about Activision Blizzard today. Another big company that we do often have stories of is Epic Games. And this is sort of related to that. It has nothing to do with Fortnite, which is refreshing, but it does have to do with Epic Games. On Friday, Valve announced that Steam would not be accepting games onto the platform that incorporate NFTs or cryptocurrency. I didn't look into that a whole lot. It's probably because a couple of years ago there was a big thing with trading of skins in Counter-Strike Go, and a lot of real money exchanging hands and gambling, and just a lot of like money being spent on games and games generating money, and just not a good time. And probably because of the background in that, they don't want NFTs or cryptocurrency. They don't want games that can issue cryptocurrency. And NFTs, more than crypto itself, are a scam, or B, money laundering. Um, and both, and in all cases, very harmful for the environment. So for whatever reason, Valve said none of that on here. The next day, Epic Games was like, well, shit, that's money lying on the table. Come on into the Epic Games Store. They would welcome such games onto the Epic Games Store, quote, provided they follow the relevant laws, disclose their terms, and are age rated by an appropriate group. This is interesting because a couple of months ago, Tim Sweeney was like, no. Epic would be avoiding NFTs. Quote, the whole field is currently tangled up with an intractable mix of scams, interesting decentralized tech foundations, and scams. But now they're just like, oh, we're not using it in our games, but we're happy to distribute it. Pick a stance. Like, I don't know. Thoughts?
Um, it's very striking that with the recent lawsuit loss, unfortunately, with the Coalition for App Fairness and all these things, that Epic Games does need to generate more for their online platform and figure in where you know what I really feel like it is? They found an old playbook and they decided where Valve can't, Epic will. Like, and they're like, well, you know what? We're gonna dive in and we're gonna Dogecoin it up for a little while, and then maybe if it gets too deep or things like that.
Epic does what Valve don't.
So, do we own part of Sega? Great, we'll use that line. Like,
We've sold a Sega game. Have we? Have we sold a Sega game?
they
Yeah,
definitely sell some form of the Sega Remaster Collection.
Yeah, like cryptocurrency in general, I'm NFTs 100%. Like, it's not a topic I got to last week, but Intellivision was like, "Hey, some of our games are going to be NFTs as well," and I'm like, "Well, that's me done with Intellivision now. I'm done." And so, like, not that I needed another reason to be pro Steam over Epic Game Store, but don't worry
Why?
about it, Dave. You can discuss it in the table
Why?
topics section on the Discord
I
server.
definitely will. That poor system didn't stand a chance. Everyone was going to eat its lunch and take all its money and beat it up, and now shove it in its locker. And now it's trying to be the cool kids with the NFTs.
Yeah. So this is something where like Epic the game developer was like, "Oh no, we wouldn't. That's awful. That goes against some of what we believe in as a company." But Epic the distributor is like, "Yeah, bring it on in." And I mean, I don't like the Epic Game Store from the little that I had to use it. I'm fully into the, Steam, everything like that. But like I mentioned Timberborn before, the trailer that showed that it's going to be on Epic Game Store and GOG and Steam. So, are you are you trying to look up what an NFT is, or what is
Nope.
that?
Um, so, uh, Dead by Daylight, a game that I stream, a game that I enjoy, apparently is getting caught up in NFTs. Um,
It's a scam. An NFT is a piece of text that is verified through blockchain technology that basically a whole network of computers says, "Yep, that's that text," and "Yep, you own that text." And that text has a link to a picture. That's all it is.
and in the
You
case
don't
of
own the rights to that picture.
the Dead by Daylight one, um, the company worked with another company that then used the assets from Dead by Daylight as an NFT, and they are selling it. But if you own that NFT, you get the Hellraiser content in Dead by Daylight. You do not get exclusive content. It's not exclusive to,
Yeah, so
but
it's being used as another way to sell stuff, and it's just I hate it. I hate it. I'm over it.
I
And I
also
hate that more and more companies are jumping onto it when the most common use of an NFT is to inflate the value of something beyond what's reasonable. People will pay more for it because it's a buzzword. It's a bubble. It's a bubble. And I can't wait for it to pop, but it's going to be some time, I think, until it does. If it didn't pop this past summer, it's still going to take time.
I'm I'm not looking forward to seeing how far these NFTs carry and things like this, just
Especially
because this
because
is
like they're based on I think most NFTs are on the Ethereum blockchain, which is still proof of work, which is very very harmful to the environment. It is very energy hungry.
okay.
It has a very bad carbon footprint. Like I think Bitcoin, I have no idea. Like Bitcoin mining last year was a high generated more carbon than at least half of the world's countries.
How?
Because it needs a lot of electricity. And how is electricity generated?
Okay.
Usually
all
by
right.
fossil fuels.
Okay. Huh. How dumb. Um, but so let's put on our crystal ball. Put out our crystal ball.
To also say nothing about the fact that I hate that crypto and blockchain and all that uses up valuable graphics cards that I
Our
really need.
microtransactions as the PS5, the Series X, and the Switch start hitting this next generation of gaming stride. Is the term microtransaction going to retake its throne as the new gaming buzzword? Or are NFTs now the new thing and a company's going to pursue those as a cash
I
grab, you
think
think?
that
And what do you think, chat? Let us know.
I think short-sighted companies are going to chase NFTs. Um, I think that like Epic as a developer knows that no, that's not going to go well. But if these other developers are that short-sighted, we're happy to put them on our store and take a cut of that money before it pops. Um, but it's not a good long-term strategy, in my opinion.
So you do feel that microtransactions will come back?
I mean, there's
We'll be
always
buying skin packs
microtransactions
and
will be here the whole time. It's just they're gonna fade into the background as the devil of the time because I mean, like there's always going to be, cosmetic items released, whatever. And for the most part, they're not going to be linked to NFTs. I think EA is going to be coming out with microtransactions out the ass for everything, but they're not probably not going to do it as NFTs. It's just people won't pay as much attention to it because NFT is the buzzword.
Dude Icarus in chat saying, hopefully doesn't kill the indie scene.
There's been some of that where like number one, someone makes art, but then like that art gets stolen for use as NFTs or at least ripped off. Because oh look at that really cool art. Let me turn it into an NFT. And sell that. I think that good indie developers will stay away from it. I don't. I think that most people know that NFT equals bad. I think the majority of people that are in the market that are gamers and looking to get things know that NFT equals bad, and they're going to be fine with regular microtransactions and actually buying whatever.
Yeah.
But I think some are going to go into it thinking it's like a get rich quick scheme, and we're going to see some NFT shovelware, just bad games that will do something with it.
They already have bad game shovelware. They're called limited run games. Bam!
I mean, shovelware's everywhere.
Some of those games are shovelware. Anyway, our Insane Games Epic, just remember, when this blows up in your face, don't come crying to your big brothers here at Insane Games TV, all right? Just don't. When you gotta take out a second mortgage on them all, just remember.
No, it's fine because they're just doing
we
it
warned
as a
you.
distributor. The games that they host are going to go under, and they'll still have taken their probably 30%. Ha! Interesting.
Just remember, the holidays are coming up, and your bigger brother in Insane Games TV could use some nice new things. So, yeah, 30%.
Yes,
off
buy
the
us
top.
stuff with that dirty NFT money. That's how money laundering works. Move on before we get implicated.
You know who recently got implicated?
Oh boy.
When you put a product up and you know that you're going to get in legal trouble for it, and you put something in the product description that says, quote, go ahead, sue us, end quote, and you're making a product specifically for a licensed product, you would be DBrand in specifically referencing for me, and their product in question was called Dark Plates. Remember this story from a while ago, folks?
Yep, early this year.
We definitely talked about these, and different companies have put them out, but DBrand basically wanted you to be able to customize the plates on your PS5.
And that's something a lot of people have been asking about. Looking at it, it looks like the plates easily come off. A PlayStation had no
really
first party.
They do easily come off.
Yep, the PlayStation had no first-party ways to swap faceplates like Microsoft did with the 360. So, in comes the aftermarket.
Although when one doth wave the red curtain at the bull, you can expect that something will happen. And so it did, because they got served on.
Did they get the horns?
They got a close brushing, and that scared them enough to take it down starting on Friday, where they got a cease and desist letter.
So I've heard this reported a few different ways. Dave, what is the product specifically? Is it just the plates themselves?
They were advertising. Yes, the dark plates themselves
Okay.
were plates specifically to replace the plates that are currently on the PlayStation 5 system.
So one way that I heard it announced was that their regular plates have some texturing on them that if you squint a little bit kind of looks like the PlayStation logos, an X, a circle, whatever. But if you look closer, then it's like, oh, well, they're legally distinct. It's crossbones, it's a skull, it's that kind of thing. The problem is one of the designs for their plates has actually straight up the PlayStation logo on it.
Come on.
So, on the one hand, we have what feels like overreach by Sony retaliating against an actual market demand for a product that they are not providing, that the aftermarket can step in and do something with. Which, on the other hand, we have DBrand being D-Bags, who, number one, when they market the thing, is like, oh, you totally can't sue us because we changed it a little. And then I don't know what they said when it got taken down, but it was very just like, oh, looks like Sony doesn't like fun or something like that. It's like, just put up your item, say compatible with PlayStation 5, and shut up. And you wouldn't have gotten in trouble because other brands make these things. I think over this summer, another one was taken down, but then went back up, and they still sell them.
Yes.
Because they're not massive holes about it.
You can't poke the bear and then be surprised when the bear turns around and doth bite one's finger off.
But they kind of did what Epic did, which is that like they primed their fans to be angry about it and to take their side when all the way back, last year when Epic was like, oh man, Apple took us off the store. It's like, yeah, but what did you expect to happen when you did this? But, oh, look at Big Bad Apple. We're going to parody their most effective commercial with Pear or whatever. Banana Man.
It's one of those things of like, man, if you know you're going to get in trouble for doing it, and you're doing it, and then you try to turn around and be like, ah!
It would be so much easier to be on the side of the little guy if their entire brand presence didn't revolve around being a douche canoe. But apparently, that's who they market to. So that's the way they go.
DBDC, don't be a douche canoe, coming to the Insane Games TV store. Speaking of people being douches to each other.
Oh, boy. That's the worst segue ever. Oh, hold on. Let me just look at the entire world now.
Mm-hmm.
Narrow it down for me a little.
All right, gladly. Think of in gaming one of the most toxic places to be.
Activision?
More PC based.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yes, you do. You can't spell toxicity without looking very carefully into the subtext of it and seeing /all easy.
Yeah.
Haha, /all quit and kill yourself, /all, name character from League of Legends, you're terrible, KYA.
When was the last time you played League of Legends?
It was before there was a lot of the characters they have now.
Name a character.
I'm
not going to let you move on until you name one League of Legends character. It can be any.
Ooh, the one that I really liked, Malphite.
Okay, good. You named a League of Legends character.
But yeah, Riot has decided, in a way of making their game infinitely less toxic, that they have pulled
Slightly less
the
toxic.
/all command from chat, so that teams can no longer talk to each other across lines. You can still be toxic as hell to your own teammates,
Yeah.
and that'll
There's still
earn
a
you what
lot
it
of
earns
that.
you.
And like there was some positive chat between teams, but in their research for it, they found that most of it was toxic. It was this guy sucks, ha ha, I beat you, whatever, Malphite easy, and worse. Um, so by default, chat in League of Legends was always team based first. You would have to manually type /all in order to say anything to the other team. They've just disabled that command. Is that permanent?
They have no plans currently to bring it back,
Okay.
but it's one of the cases of, well, if you're going to mistreat it, I'm putting it up here on the mantle, and you can think about it while you go to your room.
Yeah, and like League is toxic. Unfortunately, the now it is possible now to get in a non-toxic game. Well, um, you and 4 friends, you're on your team. It's good. You will only ever talk to each other. That said, there is still gameplay behavior that you can exhibit that is, we'll just say, unsportsmanlike to showing your opponent, but it's something you gotta try more for. Not that people won't try, because they will. Demon Dragon, if you're there, what's your input on all chat going bye bye? But yeah, I welcome this change. Like again, there's a couple whole like the success stories of like, oh well, that was wholesome in all chat were only good because of how much of a toxic cesspool it is normally.
What? Oh, it was Overwatch when they did cross-platform, where I was talking about. Oh my God, I saw these wholesome posts, and it was like, no, Dave, they just changed it. Where if someone types GG Easy, it comes out as this long. Like I've been having a really tough time lately, and I like this game. And I was like, oh, what a way to do that.
Yeah. I always muted the other team in my games anyway, so it doesn't matter to me that it's gone. I liked that that option was there, but now it's just probably people. I could see it just being people who like wanted to keep it on and were just toxic to each other, and also I think it was on by default. I wonder if it's something that they might go back and be like, all right, it's off by default. You need to intentionally enable it, being able to see it, but then, yeah, I guess just get rid of it. It's a simple way.
Yeah, pass. Um, I don't really see a reason why during the game you should be able to talk to your opponents.
Is it disabled in the post game lobby as well, Demon Dragon? Do you know? Is it like just during the game, or like in post game? Can you say anything to the
You
other
can
team there
probably
too?
say things in post game, but at the same point, like at that point, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah,
pre-game, post
that's
game,
just
no,
in game.
just in
Okay,
game.
so if someone does something out of game and you're like, oh yes, thank you, it is much easier to report you from here.
Yep. I think that's why too. They're like people are less likely to be
Yeah,
as overtly toxic as they would be in game, because then some people just don't have the ability to like. Yeah, post game's a free for all. It just fills up with text and
yep.
like GG easies or you know all the different.
And I'm sure worse. I'm sure Demon Dragon has seen worse, but we'll just be like GG Easy is the worst of it. Let's not think about that anymore. Um, we've talked a few times, I dare say at length, about Blue Box Game Studios,
Mhm.
the creators of Abandoned, who are not Kojima and not making a Silent Hill game.
Allegedly.
Funny you should use that word. Blue Box Game Studios, the alleged developer behind the allegedly upcoming game Abandoned, as I wrote it because we went over how much they've scammed people in the past and so forth. Um, no matter if they're a scam, no matter if some people who got carried away with with this fun little conspiracy theory, put that away, please, Dave. Please,
Nope.
Dave. Until I'm done with this, let me at least get through the
You continue
summary.
talking. You continue. I'm not interrupting you.
No matter how much fun you're having with a conspiracy theory, and Dave, I know that you're having fun with it, and that you
Uh-huh.
don't necessarily take it seriously.
Yes.
Some people can't tell the difference between something fun, boy, it sure would be neat if, and reality and the toxicity that comes with the idea of ownership over something.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Box put a statement out to Twitter asking people to stop making death threats against them. Death threats are not okay. They accomplish nothing except harming the quality of life for the people that have been made against that they have been made that they except for emotionally harming the people that they've been made against. And that's not cool. It's not cool just to do something to hurt someone. Even if you don't plan to carry through, the death threat itself can still be emotionally harmful. I don't care how much you wish that it was a Kojima game or a Silent Hill game. I don't care how badly spelled or like how poor the grammar was in their release about this, because they posted a picture that had a lot of bizarre spelling choices. I know that they're English second language, but like bad grammar also doesn't deserve death threats. Just don't. So I will not entertain any more of this. Haha, it's just fun conspiracy, because unfortunately there are people that can't tell the difference between haha would be fun if and no, this needs to be real, and anyone that says otherwise, I am, must incur my wrath. Even if the person who is actually doing the thing says that this is not a conspiracy, this is actually what we're putting out. Oh,
Mhm.
well, they're just covering it. No, I'm done with conspiracy theories.
Mhm.
Do you have anything to add other than death threats not cool?
Nope.
Cool. I it's bizarre following Blue Box Game Studios, because like they've been kind of all over the place. They admitted that they invited some of that speculation, but like this is too far. I think in the end, Abandoned is never going to release. And they're hoping to kind of fade quietly into the background within the next couple of months. And we're gonna hope that everyone forgets about it.
Mhm.
But because of the supposed connection to Kojima and Silent Hill, it has now grown beyond their control, and they're not going to be able to back out of this like they have others in the past. Not okay.
Thanks a lot, Internet.
Yeah, you're why we can't have nice things. Just wanting to have a fun, harmless conspiracy about Hideo Kojima. Can we have that? No. Thanks. Toxicity stems from when you think you own something and should have a say in what happens to it. And I'm sorry, Internet, you do not own anything about Blue Box Studios or Abandoned, and you get no say in it or connection to Kojima, whatever. You are being toxic and terrible. Stop it. Obviously, I'm talking to the parts of the internet to do this. The rest of you keep doing your thing. Keep posting about Dolly Parton. It's great. That's actually all my topics. I only had a few. What more do you have in your 2.5 pages we still have left?
November 12th. A big day for gaming.
The way you started that off sounded very noir. November 12th.
Oh, yes.
Never believe what video game mascot came into my...
No, no.
Of all the,
a big
of all the
thing's
speakeasies, of
gonna
all the
be
towns.
happening. Gonna be happening on November 12th because Minecraft is coming to the PC on Xbox Game Pass. That's right. The Xbox version of Minecraft, the lesser version, is coming to PC, and you're going to be able to play the version that has less customization.
Yeah, but it's on Game Pass, so it's free. It's not like the full version, which costs, I don't know, $30 or something.
The Java's also going to be on Game Pass.
What?
Minecraft Java's also going to be on Game Pass.
Interesting.
Okay.
Cool.
But yeah, it's for those that have a Game Pass subscription. Game Pass has been crushing it. And
value.
Yeah, I don't think either of us had it written down, but we saw something where the Xbox Series X/S has in the first year that it's been out, has already outsold the Xbox One in the Japanese market, like lifetime Xbox One. Xbox as a brand does very poorly in Japan, especially compared to PlayStation and Nintendo. But I think that things like Game Pass really make it a much more palatable thing. Um, like it is such an incredible value. And again, it's games that you can have on the Xbox, but also on your PC through the Microsoft Store part of Game Pass. It's great. Minecraft seems an odd one to add, but sure, if you don't own it, there now you can play it. So that's fun.
PlayStation is at it again in an almost damn Daniel-like moment where they unleashed a patch which unfortunately backed up some fixes. If you have a PlayStation 5 disc game, or you upgrade from a PlayStation 4 version of a game to a PlayStation 5, in some cases, your PlayStation 5 is also going to start installing the PlayStation 4 version, meaning you will have two on your system. They had fixed that, and it was great, and then they set it back. Currently, no plans for when the next patch for the PlayStation is coming out, but fortunately, small fixes in code, and things will be right as rain.
That's another thing Xbox is doing really well. Xbox is doing really well in the things that sound like nothing. Smart delivery. Yeah, we put the right version of the game onto your console depending on what console you have. And people are like, well, friggin' duh. And then PlayStation's like, hold my beer.
Yes. Speaking of Xbox, the Xbox Game Studios Publishing had Fable news. And then they didn't. In the case that was very clearly some intern being told to tweet some stuff, they were then publishing about, oh, tomorrow we're going to have news about the next Fable. We just got to get the chickens in order. And then tweeted out the next day and deleted the previous tweets about, no, we don't have any news. Very sorry about that. Blowing up the internet, but hilarious regardless.
Yeah, that's like... I always hear about these things where like, oh yeah, this thing is available for all on the company intranet, but not necessarily all of it is cleared for release, but they do a very poor job of labeling internally what is clear for release. So probably, and again, we always joke intern, but it's probably, whoever the employee is for social media, saw that thing and was like, there may have been an older thing where it was like, yeah, we'll announce this, whatever. And they assumed that it would be like a public announcement, and maybe it's, something that's going to be announced to another development team or something. And yeah, so maybe the social media person gets in trouble. Maybe whoever uploaded the document that they read and that they were accidentally CC'd on or something.
Regardless, always hilarious when you hear new news about a big game that you're very excited about, like I am very excited for the next Fable. It looks like it's going to be amazing. But the fact that it was literally like, oh, no, shut it. Like,
shut her down.
They're shoving the guy behind the curtain. They're like, nothing to see here. Nobody sees the wizard. Ain't no way, no how.
Put the genie back in the bottle.
It's good to vet the things that you put out there, and it's even better to keep an eye on those things. Speaking of vetting it, but not really being able to, Ghost Recon Frontlines is not ready for duty. Do you remember Ghost Recon Frontlines?
Vaguely.
It is going to be
Was that Battle Royale?
Yes, it was going to be 102-person teams of 3 Battle Royale for the Ghost Recon franchise. And it was supposed to have a closed beta starting October 14th to the 21st. And here's how you could tell
that sounds past tense.
You can hear that it was not necessarily ready because the metrics put onto this Battle Royale where it was PC only, makes sense, easily fixed, more interaction, and it was only going to be for gamers in Europe. It gets stranger, though, because you think, well, maybe Ghost Recon really does have a stronghold in Europe, and that's really where a majority of their player base... Nope! It was just that they knew that it may not have been ready, and they had a smaller market to fish it out to, and not get in as much trouble. But as of October 13th, they released on their Twitter that they were going to postpone the closed beta, because it just wasn't ready for action yet.
Okay, that's
and
fair.
But the reason that makes headway to my speculative comments about sending it to a smaller market goes to the fact that they said after the postponement, it'll be going out to a larger audience for the beta.
Okay.
So a boon for PC gamers outside of Europe, but at the same point, are
Europe
you a fan
very
of...
rarely gets stuff before us, so I kind of feel bad for them. Like movie releases, I usually hear from my friends in the UK that are just like, I don't get that movie for another week. I mean, like a massive international blockbuster will release the same day, but otherwise,
Yeah,
oh man, you're reading that book already? We don't get that for another couple of months.
that sucks.
And then it's more expensive anyway. So, like, oh, they were going to get the closed beta earlier. Good for them. Nope. Sorry.
At this point, I really hope that Ghost Recon Frontlines waits longer so that Battle Royale can really start raking over in the coals, and then they can release it so that the Ghost Recon fandom, which is not nearly as big as the Battlefront fandom and not nearly as big as the Call of Duty fandom, can kind of hopefully re-grab some of that attention and love that will be beholden to them. I haven't really played many Ghost Recon games, and this is definitely not going to move the needle for me.
Yeah.
It's not going to get me to buy Frontlines, and it's definitely not going to get me to throw it on unless it's free. Then I might give it a shot
For a couple of weeks and then forget about it and then uninstall the 65 gigabyte install.
for a day tops. I'm seeing. That's how long Warzone was supposed to live, and then we actually started having fun with it, and there we were. The one last thing that I did find that was what was part of the leak of documentation was that Twitch had a do not ban list programmed
Yeah, I saw
into
that.
its program and things like that, and I found that interesting. I thought that was a smart move on their part, considering that they have a system that is bot enacted and very fast, and so that the larger streamers couldn't be pulled because of, hey, let's try to take down this person and let's get everybody on 4chan or Reddit to like report them for this thing. And then
Dave, this podcast is going to be terrible if we're always agreeing on the same stuff. No, I 100% agree. It's not something that's active anymore. It's something that I think was last used in 2017.
Yeah, the ban list was for the biggest streamers of 2017.
Yeah.
There was the employee that confirmed the leak no longer worked for Twitch, and so there was no other speculation as to whether or not, except if you listen every week on the podcast here, where we talk about people getting banned, and a lot of them are very big revenue draw streamers.
And so a lot of again, I'm going to take a dig at some of the reporting on this. Some of the reporting is like, oh, look at this, some of the big streamers that had a different set of rules and they couldn't be banned. No, that's not what it was. It was do not auto ban. Particularly because there was a big streamer that did a lot of IRL, as it was referred to at the time, when there was no just chatting. Like at the time, Twitch was very much don't do non-gaming stuff on Twitch.
Yes.
And there was someone big there, and it's every time they went live, there was a lot of reports where, oh, this wasn't a game, and so it wasn't a do not ban ever list. It was a do not ban automatically. Have someone manually review it, and then if they show some genitals, then yeah, go ahead and ban them.
You're out of here.
So. Yeah, boy, that last 20 minutes was interesting. It was, all right, short topic, go. I'll try to bring more topics next time, Dave, I swear.
I have no problem because I have more stuff, but I do want to talk for a moment about a real life experience that I had this weekend.
Okay.
Have you ever stop me, Chad, also, if you can relate to this one, get excited for a sporting event or an event, and places that are supposed to host said things, you arrive there to such general lackadaisical action that you just think, damn it, we wasted the car ride over here. Specifically, my team, the San Francisco Giants, were playing in a do or die Game 5 of the MLB playoffs. If they won, they were going to the next part of the league championships. I won't get too in the weeds about this, the
Okay.
terminology, but they were playing against the Dodgers. Two big market teams. You'd think that your local Applebee's in Queensbury would have that game on the TV
Oh.
and be able to find it within the first 4 innings. But spoiler alert, they didn't. And me
Aw.
and CJ and my brother-in-law Brian and my sister and my dad and my mother-in-law, we had to sit there and we watched the Buccaneers and the Eagles sitting there stanking up 6 TVs. And every time I went over and I was like, "Okay, could you?" And I knew the channel that it
Uh-huh.
was on.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, can you put it on any of them? Any of them?" I'd
Yeah.
even called ahead of time to ask, "Are you going to have this on?" And they're like, "Oh, ask your server." And I was like, "Okay." So we went there and they're like, "Oh, you're the person that called ahead. How nice!" Ah!
Yeah. So can you?
And then they proceeded to walk around with a remote, kind of going, "Oh, it doesn't seem like the Giants are playing tonight." And me and CJ are like just about to literally lose our effing shit. And I was like, "It's not." All right, listen very carefully. It's not the football Giants. It's the baseball Giants. It's the Giants that are going to win games in the next 10 years. The baseball ones, not the football ones, okay? You stupid. I was so angry because I missed such good gameplay. And then they put it on at 10 o'clock. And didn't you damn well know it, but the place closes at 11. So it got into late game, and then we had to scramble to go somewhere else to watch the finish of the game, where I might add, my best man, Vladdy, jinxed my team and then fell asleep when the jinx happened. It was the worst. It was the worst, and yet very good that our friends and family were actually able to see Vladdy's magical. He'll be talking 1 minute, and then he's asleep in the next minute. He was literally sitting next to me. The man passed out. Max Scherzer was pitching. It was tense. It was awful, and I hated it.
This
And
is
then
the
I heard,
second story about Vladdy passing out that we've had on this show tonight.
and then I heard, and I looked over to Alec and CJ, and I kind of like gestured, and the both of them were like, "Oh my God, it does happen." And I was like, "Yes, it does happen, and it's real." And then the game was over, and it was lost, and I was furious.
Speaking of game on TV, and I know that we're in extra innings ourselves, but really quick, when
Yes!
do you think we'll see esports on TV at Applebee's or Texas Roadhouses, where Steph and I were when the topic came up in conversation? When do you think you'll be able to go out to a restaurant and see esports up on the TV? And what game do you think it would be?
When Buffalo Wild Wings starts using non-network television on their TVs.
Okay.
So when YouTube TV or Twitch or whoever, because like Thursday Night Football is going to be exclusive to this broadcast service, and this is going to be exclusive to that and this and that. So it's going to be tougher for these places to keep up, and they're going to have to find median aggregate. And I really do think it's going to be Buffalo. I'm gonna go all the way
It's
in.
going to be Buffalo Wild Wings.
And I think it's going to be consistently Buffalo Wild Wings, and I think it's going to be League of Legends. And it's partially because League of Legends has already been live at some Buffalo Wild Wings. They did an event. I unfortunately wasn't able to go, but I think that as LoL and Overwatch League start to CJ Playmaker and chat, it would need to be something that would be more engaging to the casual person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think it would be either League or Overwatch. I think that League is a little easier to see overall process of what's happening in the game as you're watching than Overwatch is, but Overwatch can still do that. And I think it will be when broadcast television starts carrying esports. I think if at some
So you're
point,
going the other way? Okay.
yeah, where like ESPN2 would show, the League of Legends Worlds kind of thing. Like starting with the big season-ending tournaments or ending game would be on ESPN2 or something like that, something that is, off the main network. Like there's Fox Sports, and then if there's other like secondary Fox Sports channels, I don't even know. Check the guy that doesn't watch sports on TV.
Twitch.tv's own CJ Playmaker also points out it would something that doesn't clash with the major sports markets, NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and the NCAA. They're also going to have to start before the restaurants close, because a lot of these matches are, depending on where the place is based, like 5 o'clock their time is like 11 o'clock our time. CJ Playmaker can definitely relate to that, as he's trying to watch Formula One races, which are overseas based. So like at 11 p.m. is when the broadcast starts.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And like we talked about Overwatch, was it the other day that we were talking the other week when in like Romania or something, and then ended up being a not in-person event? Was it Overwatch or was it League?
It was probably League.
Okay. But whatever it was, yeah, like they go wherever people will host them.
Yes.
And yeah, like it's kind of, but then you get like the Olympics kind of thing where it's just aired not in real time. So it's like maybe it just comes down to when esports is in the Olympics is when we'll be able to start seeing esports on the television at Applebee's.
It'll definitely be there. But Dude Icarus giving a suggestion of Twitch Plays Pokemon needs a TV at the local 99. I bet if we as Insane Games TV gave our local 99 a television and a Chromecast and a Twitch app on the Chromecast, they would just have us up on it. Like, I'm willing to bet we could probably start doing that. We could probably even get Yum Yum Kitchen to put us up on there if we gave them a television and a Chromecast.
Yeah, there we go.
A bigger TV, a 34-inch.
We'll just get it so that every TV in the mall is broadcasting us.
Oh my God! Getting all the if they upgraded to digital kiosks and getting Insane Games TV live in the Wilton Mall right now.
I don't know that the Wilton Mall is ever going to go to digigal kiosks. That implies more life. All right, I'm not going to besmirch the mall right now.
What I will say is, I'm looking forward to seeing. I want there to be a day, Boater, when we can go back to potentially having live audience interactions during the program, like we did when the program first started.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that, and I think once, let's just say, comfortably within 2 years, we'll be able to have that gate open, have the revolver things out here, push the table closer so that people can walk over, and we'll obviously have a placard that'll answer the basic questions of like, what are you doing? Like this and that and the other, but like people will be able to participate in the discussions because we want you guys in chat to participate, but at the same point, it'll be kind of fun to do like a live program every once in a while.
Yeah.
Speaking of, next week...
We got to get like a morning show kind of thing where you just have like Al Roker in front of a crowd of fans.
I'll do it. Dan, I'll do it. Next convention, I'll just do what I did last time at Saratoga Comic-Con. We have press passes. We can get in and out. People have to line up, and they'll gladly woo in the background of whatever. Especially if you throw free stuff, some Weekend Wednesday T-shirts that I'm going to buy, and then throw at people.
Woo! T-shirt cannon that goes boom because there's the ceiling and all
how optimistic you think that people will read the placard? They won't, but we just won't answer them.
I thought of that, and then the moment was passed.
Speaking of which, this week we kind of took it easy. We, Boater and I sat and we casually spoke. Next week, the Nerd Glasses is doing another head-to-head. This time, it's not going to be in Cornhole. It's not going to be in Mario Party. It's going to be on the pickleball court.
Oh, yeah.
The rules are going to be as follows. You're going to volley. The person who wins the point gets to do their topic, and you have to scramble to get to your seats as we change the camera from the court over to wherever or we just
meet at center court and talk to a camera on the side or something. I don't know.
I think if we do it the way we did it last time, we'll just have chairs off court, and we have to then grab the stools, run over, put them down on the court.
There's
and
a
then-
camera on each side of the court. I think if whoever wins the point gets to stay on their side of the court, and the other person has to scramble to them.
We'll see how the two camera system is handling it, but
Yeah, that might be a bit much on the backup computer over there.
tune in next week to the Nerd Glasses right here on Insane Games TV, starting at 7 p.m. This is your last call for custom shoutouts for following here on Insane Games TV, but you can follow at any point, and you can join the discussions down below in the Discord, because there are some topics that we just don't get to, and we want you to be in that discussion, so we post it in our
Tabled topics. So I posted earlier this morning. I posted my ones from last week because I'm an idiot and forgot to post them at the time. So you can comment on those, any of the previous ones, anything that we post from this week. And of course, also in the Discord, you can suggest topics that you'd like us to cover on the next broadcast. So in the meantime, folks, thank you for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. I will be on just after this on the Citadel. What's that little bastard telling you?
You mean Conspiracy Baseball? Conspiracy Baseball is talking about a Kojima story that you don't want to hear. It has nothing to do with our previous topic. It just has to do with the fact that he heard some rumors that Konami and Kojima ate at the same restaurant within the calendar year of each other. Silent Hill's confirmed. Thank you very much, Conspiracy Baseball.
Thank you, Conspiracy Baseball. In the meantime, if you want to hear more from Conspiracy Baseball, might hang out in the background of the Citadel. The Outer Worlds is what we're going to be playing with the continued adventures of Stacy. Well, let me hide my face, because a face is where it wants to autofocus. You got it? You good? Okay, cool. Sometimes it focuses on the mask in the background, the We Happy Few mask in the background of my set. Yes, we're playing the Outer Worlds. We're continuing the adventures of Stacy. There should be a lot more shooting this episode, because last time we're in a new town and we spent the entire time getting subquests. So it should be
Subquest.
Fun.
That's a nice hat you got.
Make sure that you stick around for that. If you want to watch that, then we go offline here. We spend about 5 minutes moving everything 8 feet to my right, and then we go online with a 10-minute countdown, and we're back, and we're going to go for 2 to 3 hours playing that. So make sure that you're following for that and for all of the wonderful programs right here at Insane Games TV. But for now, I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
Thank you for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.